Well, this is Bridgnorth, and we're in the low town, and we're looking at the cliffs, the red sandstone cliffs where there's caves. There's tunnels going underneath, and they're very ancient. And we're stopping for a little rest, and this plaque here tells you all about it. I'm hoping you'll be able to read that. It tells you all about Leviston's Hole. It's where they made a hole through so the Civil War could get underneath to try and blow up from underneath the castle. That's over 400 years ago. So that's quite interesting. The caves are a little bit dangerous, so I don't think you're allowed to go in anymore, and they've repaired them a bit. But this is a war memorial plaque, I think. And I think that might be the tunnel entrance there. Put a gate on it to stop people going in now because it's a bit dangerous. And this takes you, shows you the cliff up to the castle. And now we're in Lowtown. Right, this is down by the River Severn, the bridge across into Bridgnorth. And here's the gang having a little look, and it's a lovely day, sun shining, and just along here there's an interesting tree. Hopefully it's one of the oldest trees. It's not in full bloom yet, for the leaves are a bit small, but it's one of the oldest and the biggest, certainly in Shropshire, of a tree called a ginkgo, and somebody's hung some plastic chains from it. And if I go in a bit closer, you should be able to see the leaves, which are rather interesting. See if I can zoom in a bit. Zoom in a little bit further, and you can see the leaves of the ginkgo tree. And it's a prehistoric tree, and it does have flowers and fruit on it. It's a very old and unique ginkgo tree that's been here many, many years to have grown this big. And it's quite a tourist attraction, I suppose, in Bridgnorth down by the river. There's loads of ducks and things over there on the other side of the river. It's another interesting little feature of Bridgnorth. And then some interesting columns there down in the water. I don't know what those are all about. And magnify those up. Quite know what they are. Stone columns. And now we've come through into the little park area, the bandstand and lovely gardens. Lots of people out taking the sun. Very nice. And here there's a rather nice war memorial of a soldier holding his hand out and looking out across the countryside in this park. And I think if we go up here, this may be a view of what I thought I was going to look at. I think down there Not 100% sure. No. I thought that was going to be the railway, but no. It's a nice view of some more countryside. But it's not really what I thought it was. In memory of all the men who fought in the war. First World War probably, and second. In this lovely park. Now up here there's a rather interesting structure in this park, because as I said, there was a castle here which Cromwell and his men managed to batter down, but for some reason this bit here didn't fall completely, and this is a keep, I think they call it, which is the main part of the tower of the and strangely it's leaning over at a rather precarious angle, but for some reason it doesn't fall, and looks very strange. But it's the only part really of the castle that remains, and it's in this little park, and people are allowed to go all around it, so it's obviously at the moment reasonably safe. If I go down here, you'll see how much it's leaning even more from the vertical. It's sort of Shropshire's Leaning Tower of Pisa. As you can see, the tower leans over at rather a dodgy angle. Holding the camera as level as I can, but you can see that the angle and where the roof bits are on there are tilted. There's a huge crack. And for some reason this bit has just lodged itself and stayed upright. It's rather strange. It's the only part of the castle that remains. A little diagram here that shows you what the castle was like. Obviously tells you a little bit about it. And that's really all that remains of the castle in this park on top of the hill at Bridgnorth. I think we're going to have some ice cream from this funny little caravan here. I'll just turn round, and it looks really scary, the angle at which that bit of castle is leaning. Even a bird sitting on top. What do you think about that, Sam? How do you think that's managing to stay up? It looks like it could fall down at any minute. Very strange, but it's been there for hundreds of years, so I don't know how many more hundred it's going to stay. But we wouldn't want an earthquake, because I'm sure if there was, it would fall down. Now, someone's just pointed out to me in this park there's something rather interesting which I missed. If you look at this flower bed, or this little green bush in this flower bed, it's been cut in a rather strange shape, and it represents a tank. And just over there, underneath the tree, if I zoom in, there's another little bit of topiary, and that's in the shape of a ship, a big battleship. And a little bit further over, which again I didn't notice, there's another bush in the shape of a cross. Now from above they must look really wonderful, but they're easy to see from ground level, but somebody spotted it, so I thought I'd just take a picture of that. A cross, a ship and a tank, all in this little garden to commemorate the people from the war. It's really interesting.